A delicate dance of diplomacy and military maneuvers unfolds in the Middle East, with lives hanging in the balance. But will this fragile ceasefire hold? Hostages, prisoners, and a precarious peace. Israel and Gaza are on the brink of a potential breakthrough as a ceasefire agreement brokered by the United States takes effect. The deal involves a complex exchange, the release of 250 Palestinian prisoners, and the return of all Israeli hostages, both living and deceased. But there's a catch. The prisoners' freedom is contingent on a 72-hour deadline for the release of hostages, ending on Monday afternoon in Israel. The countdown. The prisoner release. The Israeli Ministry of Justice has named 250 Palestinian prisoners to be set free, marking the first phase of the agreement. This move is a significant step towards easing tensions and fostering trust. Rafah Crossing reopens. In a coordinated effort with the White House and the EU, Italy announced the reopening of the Rafah Crossing between southern Gaza and Egypt on Tuesday. This development facilitates the movement of people and aid, with the EU Border Assistance Mission ensuring a neutral presence. Gaza's residents return home. As the Israeli military partially withdraws, displaced Gazans are returning to the northern areas of the territory. However, the devastation is evident, with eyewitnesses reporting widespread destruction in Gaza City and Al-Shati refugee camp. Humanitarian efforts and political promises. Red Cross calls for dignity. The International Red Cross emphasizes the need for a dignified and safe return of hostages and prisoners. They pledge support for families and the return of human remains, highlighting the urgency of maintaining the ceasefire. International search for missing hostages. An international team will be formed to locate missing hostages, according to Gal Hirsch, the Hostage and Missing Persons Coordinator for the Israeli Prime Minister's office. Hamas has agreed to the release of all hostages, but the process is dependent on secure conditions. Controversial statements and military movements. Israel's withdrawal and Hamas's disarmament. President Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff, confirmed the completion of the Israeli military's first-phase withdrawal. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu declared that Hamas will disarm and Gaza will be demilitarized, but his statement sparked debate. Netanyahu claimed that Hamas only agreed to the hostage release under pressure, which could provoke strong reactions. 8 trucks head to Gaza. Approximately 600 trucks carrying humanitarian aid are set to enter Gaza, providing much-needed relief. The aid includes food, medical supplies, shelter equipment, fuel, and cooking gas. Smoke and explosions amid ceasefire. Despite the ceasefire, large plumes of smoke and explosions were reported in Gaza, with Israeli bombs falling until the last hours before the ceasefire. An Israeli military spokesperson warned Gazans to stay away from designated areas, raising questions about the stability of the ceasefire. The final hours. Hostage release deadline. Hamas is expected to release all remaining hostages by noon on Monday, according to Israeli officials and President Trump. This deadline coincides with the release of the Palestinian prisoners. Ceasefire in effect. The Israeli military declared a ceasefire in Gaza, with troops withdrawing and positioning along updated lines. President Trump's peace plan aims to end the 2-year war and secure the release of Israeli hostages, but the success of this plan remains to be seen. As the world watches, the fate of this ceasefire hangs in the balance. Will it bring lasting peace, or will it be a temporary respite before the storm? The coming days will reveal the strength of this agreement and the resolve of all parties involved. And this is the part most people miss: the delicate balance between diplomacy and military action. What do you think? Is this ceasefire a turning point, or is it just the calm before the storm?